Greetings, winners. Daniel Kremer here for Trailers from Hell, and today we're going to be taking a time machine back to the New York City of Mayor John V. Lindsay, the fun city as he called it. And our time machine is one of the grittiest, grimiest pictures to have ever been shot in the city that never sleeps. When it comes to grit and grime, I'd put it right up there with Taxi Driver, honestly. It's Ivan Passer's Born to Win from 1971. George Segal plays a hairdresser with a $100 a day heroin habit, and Karen Black plays his kooky lover. I happened to live with Karen Black for a couple months back in the summer of 2008. She and her husband, Stephen, were nice enough to welcome me to stay in their guest room. And one day I actually watched Born to Win with her. True story. She provided a kind of extemporaneous commentary track discussing the film with me and her memories of it. I didn't record it, and it's one of the biggest kicking myself oversights of my life. The film has appeared on every budget video label known to man, mainly because a ratty, censored TV print entered the public domain fairly early on. It seems that most people today have seen it in this compromised version. However, I was lucky enough to catch it on a 35mm print at MoMA in New York in 2009. That print looked gorgeous. I called Karen right afterwards, and she was delighted to hear that it looked so good, and she had one important question. Could you see Nathan better? Now, Nathan was her cat in the movie and her cat at the time in life, so the director Ivan Passer allowed her to use her cat Nathan on screen. Talking about a person who likes to feature my own cats on my videos, Karen, when she could, like to feature her own felines on her films. There's actually Karen loved Ivan Passer. Ivan was one of her favorite directors. They're both, of course, gone now, Karen and Ivan. I got to know Ivan through Karen. And Karen actually related one key story, which is kind of attests to the fact that Ivan Passer was really kind of a free director who wanted the actors to make the part their own. There's a line in the movie where George Segal makes a joke where it's what has 4 legs and chases cats, and she goes, I don't know, and George Segal says, Mrs. Katz and her lawyer, and Karen says, well, that's very sad. And she told me that originally in the script she was supposed to laugh at that line, and she told Ivan prior to doing that take, is like, I wouldn't laugh at this line. I think it's a very sad line. And it's like, okay, well, why don't you say I find that sad? And that's exactly what she did. So Ivan Passer, great Czech director, emigrated to the U.S. with Milos Forman, who was also making his first American film at the time. Ivan had come from making the wonderful movie Intimate Lighting in 1965. So here we have his first English language feature. And it's a good one. It's a really portrait of New York that is one of my favorites personally. I think it's an incredible document of that era of New York. It's a short trailer, so I'm trying to fit a lot into this intro. So, from 1971, Ivan Passer's Born to Win.
Born to win. Are you born to win?
You better believe it.
George Segal, Paula Prentiss.
Born to Win was one in a series of American films about drug abuse released in 1970 and 1971. There was Jerry Schatzberg's The Panic in Needle Park, David Green's The People Next Door, Floyd Mutrux's Dusty and Sweets McGee, and Stuart Hagman's Believe in Me with Michael Sarrazin and Jackie Bissett. Born to Win is unique among them for setting itself apart with its comedy aspirations. The tone of this film is pretty fascinating. It's grim material, but Ivan Passer admitted later that he kept on finding the humor in it all. It evolved from a theater piece called Scraping Bottom, and Passer's tonal blend confused critics when it premiered at the New York Film Festival. But looking at it now, it's easy to see how it was ahead of the curve. And can I just say how much I love the funk soundtrack by William S. Fisher? Fan-funkin-tastic, man. Fisher was a keyboardist, saxophonist, and composer who performed with Ray Charles, Big Joe Turner, and Muddy Waters. And this score is all power. So sensational in that singularly 70s way. The soundtrack has never been officially released, though tracks from it appear on Fisher's 1970 album Circle. Also on hand here is a young Robert De Niro, in the role of a young whippersnapper cop using Segal to corner drug dealer Hector Elizondo. Karen Black, who's excellent here, worked with Passer 2 additional times, and even gets to sing an original tune here. By the way, a collection of her music was just recently released. Also appearing in the film are Burt Young and Marsha Jean Kurtz, who seems to have appeared in many if not most of the drug-themed pictures of that time. Irving Selpst, a giant in the New York garment industry, plays a literal heavy determined to waste Segal for a double cross.
Jay! Come back home to me.
Sure.
This is primo 70s American cinema, and you won't find a cruddier New York than the one here. Highly recommended, but try to see it in a good version. They are out there.
Paula Prentiss, Karen Black, Born to Win.
Are you born to win?
You better believe it.